Hello! What I want to talk about in this video is the new products that I'll be featuring from Luminarte, which in this case, in this video, we're going to be looking at the Radiant Rain Mists and the Colour Concentrate Dabbers. Now I have two projects here, really simple, but they're just ideal. They're perfect to illustrate some techniques that I want to show you. Just nice beginner starter techniques. It's not all there is to do by any means. There'll be more videos if I get myself into gear. That's the plan. Showing other ways to use the products, which I really, you know what, I don't know if there'll ever be an end to experimenting with these things and what you can come up with. This background is what we're going to look at now, and I absolutely love it. This is, I have to say, this is one of my favourites, and it's so easy. So we'll pop that to one side. I'm going to show you how we do that. So I'm going to use some Centaur Pearl card, which happens to be one of my favourite cards ever now, because not only is it perfect, the shiny side for this technique, because I want some coating on the card in this instance, but for ordinary stamping and using with your distress inks and things, the reverse side is the perfect stamping card. Inks move across the surface. You can use a distress ink, you can stamp with it, you can blend the ink, just add a little bit of water to it, and you know, you just don't bother even going out there and looking for a stamping card. It's the same. 2 in 1, we're like that. But this is the side I'm going to play with today. Again, I just want that little, it's not as absorbent as the other side, and it's going to let the colours sit on the surface to give even more depth and drama and shine. So what I'm going to do is just start playing. Well, a big tip really is, rather than store your sprays, your misters, on standing up like that, lie them down like this. If you lie them down, what happens is the mica that's in this liquid, which will always be a solid, there's no way of getting around this. Mica is a solid mineral, so it will never dissolve in any fluid. It's always going to separate. Whatever you do, you can't make it do otherwise. But if you stand it upright like that, it'll separate to the bottom of the container, making it much harder to shake and disperse again for next time you want to use it. So if you lie it on its side, it's got a larger surface area and it won't take as long. If you're like me, and I'm not the most patient of people. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start spritzing. Now you can see I've got some splodges here. There's a way of doing that to avoid having larger drips, is to start outside the area and move in. But I'm not bothered at this point. This is good. I just want a lot of colour on here. I'm not even going to worry about colours that I think maybe wouldn't normally work, because funnily enough, with this product, they tend to work anyway. Add in colour. Just go with it. Don't overthink it. Something I don't have to worry about very often. So you can see we've got a whole intense host of colour on there, and then I'm adding more. Look at that. I mean, that is really loads and loads of colour on there. Now that's enough though, but you can see it's already starting to puddle up. At this point, what you can do is try and just curve the card to kind of keep the colour back on there. You can't, fingers are going to get inky, but use a solid soap to wash them. It's much better than a liquid pump soap. And then the next thing, which is absolutely the thing that makes all the difference, is I'm using some sea salt here. Alright, so use the coarser stuff, you get a better finish, and then just start dropping some. Now you need to do this when it's still wet. If it's dry, you've left it too late. Okay, now these lights, I have some really strong lights here, and they're really hot, so this was already starting to dry a little bit, but can you see where you can see the colours intensify? That's where the solution's still wet, but the salt is going to react with that, and you're going to get a gorgeous, super shiny pitted finish. And I'm going to show you some of the backgrounds I've created with that one. But that's that. Now you park it to one side. Best not to force dry it with a heat gun, just let it dry for a couple of hours at least. I mean, you can do this at night really and just pop them to one side. I tend to make loads of backgrounds, and then when I've got all my backgrounds, then I'll start making my projects, because you know, everyone's going to be different. You can have a colour scheme, but you still have no guarantees on what exactly it's going to finish like. So we're going to pop that to one side. So after a couple of hours, this is what you'll have with your salt background. You'll see that it's dried now, but you've still got all this salt on the surface. Now this is quite good. It's quite therapeutical. What you do is you just go ahead and you just brush the salt off. Look, just rub it off there. And then what you've got is some shiny areas where the salt hasn't been. And then, but you've also got some pitted areas where the salt's pushed the colour around and away, and it just looks absolutely, I just love it. It's kind of like a hammered metal finish. What I'm going to use is I'm going to use some Centura Pearl again, and this could be on any non-coated card, but as you can see, I just love the Centura Pearl. It just works for everything. And what I'm going to use now, first of all, is the other product I mentioned, the Radiant Rain Dabbers. Okay, now these are, or daubers or whatever you want to call them, but they're the concentrators, what they are. This is a much more concentrated version of what you've just seen me using the sprays. You'll see this one needs to be mixed up a little bit more. Can you see? You will see the mica separate. You've got the mica there, and then you've got the solution. But look at how intense that solution is. Absolutely love this green. And if you're wondering, it's called Olive Vine. It's just such a lovely, warm, and it goes with anything. This green just works, it seems to work with anything. So once you've got the solution mixed, get your it's got a sponge nib, as you see. It's got just a, you know, a kind of and it's valve activated. So I like to just give it a press onto your non-stick craft sheet just to get it working. And then, this is important, don't keep pressing it. Just use that amount that you've got on there just to then go across your rubber stamp. You can see now we've got that solution right across the surface, and then I'm just going to start stamping randomly across this page. So that should hopefully, if you set that just enough so that some of those leaves will stick when I do the next part, which will be just adding more colour again. So get you another little tip. Be careful to wipe the nozzles of your sprays before you use them again, or I just leave the tops off and just give them a shake. Okay, you don't want the whole room that colour, so just be careful just to put a little piece of paper, picture paper over the top and do that. I just find it easier. And let's see, we'll put a bit of that one on there. Also give them a wipe. If you give them a wipe when you finish playing with them that particular day, they're gonna be not, the solution isn't going to dry on the nozzle there, and it's going to be more willing to play next time, first time. I'm just going to turn that up. See how intense this is looking out. Now can you see what's happening? The colour, when I'm adding the other colour, it's actually bleeding some of the leaf colour that's on there. I'm going to add some of this colour here is teal zircon. So we'll give that a shake. I'm going to add a little bit of this now. What's going to happen here? I'm trying for a green there. Brilliant, that's what I got. And I'm happy with that. Just think about the colours when you're mixing them, what you're going to get. We definitely 100% need a little bit more of the warm colour in there. And then when you think you've got enough of that colour, what you can use, and I love, is the pearl gold. This is a lovely one. This is a way of diluting any colour you've got on there. It'll just, but it isn't just like adding water. It's still got all the bling in there, but in a transparent solution. So what you're doing is you're making more of a pastel version of what you've got. Now if you over wet it, you will lose the leaves completely, which I've done in part of this. So be careful of that. But you can see there where there's just a hint of the leaf left. Well, that's it dry, and if I hold it and just get the light on it, you should be able to see the amazing reflection on there. Absolutely stunning. It looks almost wet.